While the days are ticking away towards the official start to spring, I've been preparing our self-proclaimed cottage, one room at a time, for the upcoming season. After decorating the adjoining kitchen last week, naturally I turned my attention next to the dining room. In this week's video, I'm taking a thrifted sheet and repurposing it into a sweet cottage-style tablecloth. I'll be making some simple spring wreaths for our dining chairs, and even potting a new houseplant, and so much more. So cozy up with your favorite beverage and settle in as we decorate our cozy cottage-style dining room for spring. If this is your first time visiting my channel, welcome. My name is Karin, and creating a beautiful, cozy home for my little family of 4 is my love language. I love to take y'all along with me as I do DIY projects, both big and small, and of course decorate. One of the first things you should know is that family heirlooms grace nearly every room of our home. In this dining room, you will see my grandma's hutch and her dining room table, as well as the caned back chairs that were a wedding present to my parents from my grandparents. And it is my absolute honor to be the caretaker of these beautiful pieces. Over the last couple of years, I've also developed a love for thrifting, and our home is now filled with some of the most amazing treasures. One of my favorites being a swan candleholder that you will see later in this video. My design influences are vast as well. I love colonial, European farmhouse, and cottage style, just to name a few, and I'm trying my best to weave a bit of all of them into the fabric of our home. Feel free to ask me any questions you may have in the comments section. I do my absolute best to respond to each and every one of you, and I appreciate it so much every time you take the time to comment. At Christmas time, I love to hang wreaths from our 2 armed dining chairs. I think it adds such a sweet, festive detail. And that got me thinking, why should that only be something I do for the holidays? I think springtime is the perfect time for charming decorative touches like that as well. I bought a set of these wreaths from Dollar Tree for $1.25, and I already had the floral wire and garland pieces from Hobby Lobby in my stash. All I'm doing is cutting small pieces of the floral wire and wrapping them around the garland and securing it to the wreath form. The garland was initially 6 feet in length, but I had cut them down to 3 feet pieces for my previous project. So to give the wreath the full look that I accomplished, I do end up using 2 of the pieces, if that makes sense. It really couldn't be any simpler, and they are going to make such a charming addition to the dining room. Changing out your art pieces for the seasons is such a fun way to add character to your space. Today I'm going to be decorating with a couple of beautiful prints from the Lost Gallery on Etsy. This charming shop is curated by my friend here on YouTube, Krista Meeker, and her husband. They recently released a spring collection and it was nearly impossible for me to choose just two. You see, I have two paintings here in this dining room that were painted by my grandpa, and those pieces have permanent spots. So I love to use thrifted art or prints like these to accent the space in other ways. Collecting and curating art collections takes time, so it's always fun to have the option of prints like these that you can change out throughout the year. I think I'm getting overconfident when it comes to houseplants. The English ivies that I have potted over the last several weeks are growing like beautiful weeds. So now apparently I think that I can keep a fern alive indoors as well. I've learned so much from all of your sweet comments over these last couple of videos, and if these plants all survive the spring, it will be thanks to all of your kind recommendations and pointers. The final project that I have on my agenda today is taking this collection of plates and hanging them above my grandma's hutch. I'm starting by tracing out each plate on this brown wrapping paper so that I can create a template on the wall before I start drilling the holes. I've always struggled with how to style the top of the hutch. I've tried what seems like hundreds of different decor combinations, and nothing ever felt right. And then I realized I was tackling the problem all wrong. So instead of worrying about what went on top of the hutch, I focused my attention on the empty wall space above it. And that is when it hit me. By hanging these plates, I think I can add interest to the one spot in the dining room that was lacking any real pizzazz, and at the same time, not overload the top of the hutch with too much decor. If you are thinking about doing something similar to this plate display in your own home, I highly recommend not skipping this step. It helped tremendously to be able to stand back and look to see where each plate would go and make sure that I got my spacing just right. I'm also really excited to eventually be able to add more plates to this display as I find them, and then of course I can rearrange them as need be. But I think this is going to end up being the absolute perfect solution for this empty wall space. These flat iron adhesive discs are my favorite way to hang plates. The glue is activated by rubbing water onto the back side of them. Each package comes with detailed instructions on how long you should wait to attach the hangers after activating the glue, and how long to let the hangers sit on the plate before hanging. As long as you follow all of the instructions, you should have no issues. I've used these several times and they have worked beautifully. If you want to remove the hanger, you simply soak your plate in warm water and it will come right off with no damage to your dish. I bought a pack of 6 on Amazon for this project for around $14, and I will link them in the description box if you are interested. Thank you all so much for watching this week's video. I hope that it inspired you in some way and made your day just a little bit brighter. This little community is growing daily and is such a blessing in my life. So thank you from the bottom of my heart for choosing to be here. I'll see y'all next week. Bye now.